Hello, this is Ms. DB. In this video, we are going to look at how to do some of the work in the Graphing Using Desmos assignment. So here's the link to Desmos. I already have it open. And when we use this site, we can either get screenshots as we go and copy and paste into this worksheet, or you can add a link. So when you click up here, I'm not even logged in, but when you click up here, you can share the graph. You can get a link, you can copy it, you can paste it onto the questions. So that's a really nice feature of Desmos. If you log in or create an account when you sign up, you can also save your work and come back to it later. Most of the time you won't need to do that though. And we will use this program a lot this year. So it's a nice program and it's time to get used to it. So here is the questions. The first one says to plot these points and connect them in order. So we're going to make a table. In Desmos, you can do different things like enter equations, plot points. I could just plot a point by going 0, 6, and it'll plot this point. Oh, it wants parentheses around it, like points should have. And then that point will be graphed on the y-axis. And you could do that for all of them, but what instead we're going to do is create a table. So go to the plus sign and then choose table. And we're going to enter all of these points. I'm not going to do all of them, but I'll show you how to do a few. So 0, 6 would be one of them. And then you can just hit enter to get to another row. 5, 9 is another one. And you can see that as I'm entering the points, they are being graphed onto the coordinate system over here. 6, 3. These points are not going to form a nice picture or anything. I just kind of randomly selected some points. So you can see lots of the points. You can move this around so that you can see more of the points. You can zoom out a little bit so you can see more of the points. You can also change the settings this way. And then we will do this a lot in order to see maybe just a few numbers on the x-axis and maybe lots of numbers on the y-axis, so you can change the settings there. And now just pretend I've entered all of them. It also says to connect them in order. Well, I didn't do that. They're just there. So I'm going to go back and click on the edits button, this little tools thing. And what it does is it lets you change some of the settings here. So I can change the color if I want of the points. They'll all change to the same color. Do that if you like. And then for lines, I'm going to click to turn them on. So now you can see that in the order that I graphed them, 0, 6 first, then 5, 9, then 6, 3. And so it's graphing them in the order that I had them, and that's what I want. Now when I add extra points, they will just automatically be added, connected in order. So the next one was 8, negative 4. And you can see it's just graphing it. Now, at some point, this gets messed up. It starts to look like a star, but then it gets crazy. Don't think you made a mistake. On the next question, when you do number 2, it says save this. So let's say that I've finished all of them. You can go to the share graph button. You can copy this, and I can put it here for number 1. Just going to go to Control V and paste that and hit the space bar, and now it's an active link that will take me exactly to your graph. Then the second question, I don't know why it says question 3 because it's question 2. Question 2, there it goes. It says, be sure you've saved your answer. Now you're going to change this graph. So let's say it starts to look like a star and then it gets messed up. You could fix it so it does look like a star, or you could do something different. Change it in at least 2 ways and then take another picture. So you could change just one point to change it one way. Maybe you want to do something like that. Or maybe you want to change the colors, or maybe you want to change the, make them dashed lines. That's kind of cool. So there's different things that you can do in order to change your graph. And then you'll take another screenshot or a link and put it here. Either screenshots or links are fine. And then it says make any discrete graph. Discrete graphs are made up of on-connecting points. I can take this away after I've saved my work and you've put it on here. So let's say I'm going to make a, you know what, I'm going to go back. I'm going to put this on here. And instead of hiding it, I'm just going to go like that. I mean, instead of deleting it, I'll just hide it in case I want to go back later. Then it says to make any discrete graph, they're made up of unconnected points. So you can see what options we have. We don't have, like in some programs, we can't just pick a point tool like GeoGebra and put points all around. But I can make another table and just put some points. Or you saw before, I can just put a few points. So discrete graphs have no connections between them. Trying to just put a few more points. Maybe I'll do one more. And you see now if I do one at a time, they're going to be different colors. This is an example of a discrete graph. The points are not connected. All right. Make any continuous graph. Continuous graphs have points that have been connected in a line or curve. One way to make a continuous graph is to write the equation of a continuous graph, like a line, y equals 2x. A line is graphed. That's a continuous function. You could also do something like this where we had our lines connected. Maybe I wouldn't have them dashed though. Then it says graph y equals 3x minus 4. You would do just what I just did. And then to make a squared, let's say I wanted y equals x squared, you can pull up the Desmos keypad at the bottom and click on the square to square it. Now you'll have to adjust it for that. And then it says to do something where you're going to graph two functions at the same time. I've already got two on here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And you can see that the intersection, you can put it right there. You can click on it, and that intersection can be kind of highlighted at that moment. So the intersection, if I had been asked to do the intersection between these two, which aren't the ones you're going to do, I would say it's 0, 0, and 2, 4. And you're going to keep going. And then, let's see, number 8 asks you to graph some points in a table again. So I'm going to clear out some of this other stuff so that I don't have so much stuff. And I'm going to say something real important here is that this table up here is x sub 1, y sub 1. If I want to make some more points, I might want these to be x sub 1, y sub 1 as well. So I'm going to delete this table now. And I'm going to make a new table down here, go to the plus sign, select table, and now it's x sub 1, y sub 1 again. You'll see why you want that to be that way in a minute. And 0, 2, there's only 3 points here to graph, and 1, negative 1. And then you're going to be asked some questions about whether or not these points are linear or not linear. Those should be the only points I see showing up now. So I zoomed out a little bit so I could see them. I hid all of the other stuff so I didn't have so much going on. You could also X out of it if you're done with it. And now I see that, yeah, I would say those are definitely in a line. And there's some directions here about how to find the equation of that line using Desmos. So we're going to type this, y sub 1. So to do that, you type the y on your keyboard, and then you just type a 1 after it, and Desmos knows that you want sub 1. And then there's a little, I'm going to click the ABC button. This little key right here is the next thing to use. It's not an equal sign, it's like a similar. It's also on your keyboard if you do shift, and it's next to the 1 key on your keyboard to the left of it. And then I'm going to type M, whoops, that's not M, and then X sub 1, I need the 1, plus B. So you might remember that y equals mx plus b is the equation of a straight line, a linear function. And what Desmos did is it used these values, x sub 1 and y sub 1 values, in order to figure out what line would go through these points. So that's why you have to have x sub 1, y sub 1 if you're going to use y sub 1 is similar to mx sub 1 plus b. This is called linear regression, and we're going to do more of this in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll do other kinds of regression throughout the year. So this Desmos calculator found that the slope is -3 and the y-intercept is 2. And we know that, we could find that because, yep, it does go through at 2, the y-intercept, and the slope is 1, 2, down 3, and over 1, so the slope is -1. So if I were to write the equation for this, it would be y equals -3x plus 2. And you can see that that blue line graphed right on top of my red line. So that's the equation of this line. So again, these are some of the basics that we will be using Desmos for throughout the year. If you have any questions about this, please let me know.